Hello, hello. Can everybody hear me? Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's well. First of all, thank you so much for joining me on this first ever Life Hacks with Jack. This is going to be awesome. I'm hoping that you guys are going to get as much value out of this as I've had making it. It's been a passion of mine to start sharing this knowledge that I have with people that want to listen. So as you guys are the first to experience this, I'm super grateful that you are here and willing to listen to me on this one. So yeah, guys, thank you so much again for joining. I'm just going to wait a few more minutes for people to join in. But if you guys want to let me know where you're coming in from today, I know there's a few people from around the world, so feel free to pop in the chat box where you come from or where you're listening from, and we can see where people are tuning in from. Let me see, where's everyone? Mexico, yes, Eric, like it, fantastic. How's the weather in Mexico? Bet it's nice. I know Chris is in Australia or New Zealand. Where are you in the world? Messaged me earlier. Awesome. Mohammed, George, where you guys coming in from? Just gonna wait for a few more people to join in and we can get cracking with this. As I said, to those that just joined, thanks so much for joining me on this Life Hacks with Jack. It is a passion of mine to be sharing this knowledge with you guys, and yeah, I'm super excited to be here. Really excited for this. I can see some people's videos are on, which is great. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack on. It's 2 minutes past. People can join in if they want to. Mohammed, you can't hear anything. Okay, can you hear me now, Mohammed? Hang on, let's just see. Can you all hear me? Put that in there. Perfect.
I can. You need to join the video call by audio as well. I couldn't hear it at the beginning.
Okay, so join by audio. Thank you very much, George. That's amazing. Okay, so once we get everyone's audio sorted, Mohammed, can you ask to hopefully? Mohammed, have you sorted it? Okay. Let's hope you can get sorted with that. But for the time being, let's crack on. So welcome to Life Hacks with Jack. This is basically a Zoom call for all the tips and tricks that I've kind of learned over the years of my experiences with life, but also with things that I've learned in my coaching academy, through things that I've been taught, my mentors, my coaches, everything that comes down to essentially the way that I've always found the most productive way to live life, but also ways and hacks in which you can live a more productive life by just doing very small little changes in your day to day. Okay. So when it comes to the format of what we're going to do today, I'm basically just going to talk to you guys about a couple of different things, and we're going to open it up with essentially explaining. Hello, can you? Mohammed, you can hear me? Amazing, well done. Right, mute yourself. That's all right, mate. There we go. We'll mute you there. Yes, perfect. As I was saying, so we're going to go through basically a couple of different things of life hacks. And we're going to start with things like morning routine. We're going to do habits and discipline. We're going to do things like productivity. We're going to do things like Instagram tips for those that are interested in that. We're going to touch on mindset, confidence building, motivation. And then at the end, we're going to have a time to obviously for you guys to ask questions if there's any that you would like to ask. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just kick off quickly with just telling you a bit about me. From those of you that have either followed me on Instagram or have known me for a long time, basically my name is Jack Revell. I've been a life coach for about 3 years. Before that, I was a male model and presenter, and I've been in the entertainment world for about 10 years. And what I've found along the way is that being A, self-employed, B, having to be put into an industry that causes a lot of like uncertainty, resilience, and also a lot of things that maybe are thrown at you last minute that you're not really prepared for. I've kind of built up this ability to kind of look at things for how they are and then find a way in which to make them work for me. And so this is how Life Hacks with Jack kind of came about. And I constantly help my friends with things they're struggling with, or, you know, hear things in the news or read things that are like, yes, that is just like making my life a lot more streamlined and a lot more efficient, basically. And that's kind of what I'm looking to help you guys with today by doing this chat. Okay. When it comes to kind of the experiences and things that I've had, I haven't done anything too massive and exciting. I've, you know, tried to start a couple of businesses and actually failed at them. They are, you know, I tried to start a street food company, which was great, but didn't really work out for me. I had an events company for a while, it didn't work out for me. But the thing I've always taken from that is not the fact that I failed. It's actually a learning curve, and it's brought me to where I am today. And I think that whenever you attack something in life, whether it be business, personal, or just generally for you, always look at it as a learning experience. Never look at it as a success or a failure, because if you learn something from something you do, that's always a win. You're always going to look at being able to build on that and have more to work with going forward. Okay. So when it comes to putting yourself out there and doing it, whether it be a personal goal or as I said, a work goal or a business goal or something like that, you just have to look at it from a point of view of, what can I get out of this? And always start with the end in mind. Okay. And that's kind of going to be the theme with a lot of these things that I talk about, is that when you start any project, always start with the end in mind. And the reason for that is because it's as simple as, if you don't know where you're going, how do you expect to navigate the route there? Okay. It's like jumping in a car and opening up a map in like another language, for example, and the roads are covered in stuff, you can't see them, but you know there's an end point over here somewhere, but you have no idea how you're going to get there. You just have to navigate blindly. If you know where you're going and you've got the route set out and everything, then it's much easier to complete your goals. Okay, so always start with the end in mind. Right now, when it comes to that sort of stuff, I'm going to just crack straight into morning routines. Morning routines are hands down the most effective way that you can be productive from the moment you wake up. Okay. The classic example of a morning routine is essentially just doing something or a few things that set you up right for the day. Okay. Now that could be anything from, you know, exercise, to eating the right foods, to doing something specific, like meditating, breathing, you know, reading a book, whatever it might be. But it has to be something that gives you that feeling of empowerment for the rest of the day. Okay. Now, this month, for those of you that have followed me for a few weeks, will know that I started, I said to myself, I'm going to open myself up with the 6 a.m. club every single day. So at 6 o'clock, regardless of what's going on, every day, Saturday, Sunday, every day through the week, I'm up at 6, right? And the reason for that is because of two reasons. One, if you get yourself up at the same time every single day, right, your body gets used to it very quickly. It takes like 3 days and your body's like used to it. I hardly set an alarm now because I know I'll be awake, okay? The second thing about it is that you get so much done in the morning, it's outrageous. Like if you haven't tried getting up at super early before, even before the world wakes up, really, it really does change the game. And the reason for that is because if you can own the day in the first few hours, right, it doesn't matter what else pops up, you've always won that day already. So to give an example, as we all know, life gets away with us all the time. So if you wake up in the morning at 6 a.m. and your day doesn't really start till, let's say, 8, you've got 2 hours of time to do anything you want to do, whether that be for yourself, as I said, meditating, reading, researching, whatever, or for your work, whether it be emails, writing proposals, sorting out your day for the day ahead. You can do that in that 2 hours, right? And because it's super focused work, because you know that that's your time, you get a lot done. Okay. And I'll touch on sort of like focusing a little bit later on in this call, but ultimately the morning routine is super important. Another part of the morning routine is your phone. Okay. Mobile phones are wonderful pieces of devices and technology, but they are an absolute nightmare when it comes to sleeping. Okay. They're programmed to keep you awake because of all the notifications and the things that are going off all the time, but also the light on them is something that will keep you awake longer than, it's called the blue light, right? And if anybody has a phone that's, you know, at least 3 or 4 or 5 years old, they will have a setting on there where you can turn the blue light down to a night mode or a like a softer light. I recommend looking at your settings like right now and changing your phone to a setting that is in a much less bright color, basically. And because all that does is it keeps you awake. Okay, it will keep your eyes in a state of sort of alert, and you will struggle to get to sleep. So my rule is that if I'm going to bed at 10 o'clock, for example, I put my phone away at 9, right? And I put it on the other side of the room. I keep it in the room just for my alarm's sake, but I put it on the other side of the room, okay? And the reason for that is because then if I have to get up in the morning for my alarm, I have to actually physically get out of bed to go and get it, right? Which is in itself a great hack to get into because it gets you out of bed. It's so easy just to turn over and snooze, as I'm sure we've all done in the past. But if you get used to that, you can get out of bed. But also it stops you having that moment of like, oh, I'll just quickly check Instagram. Oh, I'll just quickly check that email. Oh, I'll just quickly check that text message. It takes the temptation away. And hacking your life is actually more about taking away the distractions than it is about adding things to it. So throughout these sort of series that I'll be doing, a lot of it will be a sort of like, what can you actually take away to then gain more of in your life? Okay. Water, big part of getting up in the morning. Have a glass of water ready to go. So that means the night before, chuck some water by your bed, have a glass of water as soon as you wake up, because believe it or not, the brain works on water. Okay. If you down a glass of water in the morning, you will wake up quicker than any bright light, noise, foghorn will do to you, because it gets your brain moving from internally, not externally. Okay. Super important. Get your phone away from you and get water near you when you wake up in the morning. Okay. When it comes to exercise or daily routine or doing something that you makes you feel wholesome, for me, it's exercise. I exercise every single day. If you do that thing, make sure that it's something that you enjoy, because you'll do it more, but B, make sure it's something that you can keep up continuously. So there's no point saying, oh, I'm going to run like 15 kilometers in the morning when you've only got half an hour to do it, unless you're, who's a fast runner or something. You can't do it, right? So you've got to be realistic about what your goals are. If it's a short walk around your block where you live, or your estate or something like that, then that's fine. Just so long as you're realistic about what you can achieve in the time. Because if you say to yourself, I've got half an hour, but you know what you're going to do is going to take an hour, you've already set yourself up to fail, right? So be realistic. And the thing is with stuff that you find easy and that you enjoy doing, you'll find that if you run, say for half an hour, and you're able to do 5 kilometers in the first week, you'll get fitter, and therefore you'll be able to do 6 the next, and 7 the next, and 8 the next. And so therefore by progression, you'll get better at running, and therefore you'll be able to do more as the weeks go on. Okay. Meditating, journaling, reading, breathing, those things are really good for setting yourself up for the day. Personally, I meditate and I suppose journal in my form in the evening, because it calms me down. It puts me in a state of like relaxation. I kind of reflect on the day. It works differently for other people, but try it in different ways. But I definitely recommend having that as part of your routine, whether it be in the morning or whether it be part of the evening routine as well, because it just really sets you up or closes down the day, depending on how you look at it. Okay. Now, next one I want to talk about is habits. Habits are a really, really important part of fundamentally getting anything done in life. Okay. Now, there's 4 easy steps to establishing any habit. Okay. And these are basically this. It's super simple when I say it, but it takes time to kind of get used to this. Right now, the first one is make it fun and easy. I've already touched on this before, but make it fun and easy. So if you want to establish a habit of, let's say, getting up at 6 a.m., okay, you have to be able to make sure that you've got everything set up the night before so that it's almost impossible for you to fail. Okay. That's how you got to look at it. Not like, how can I do this? You got to look at how it's, how you're not going to be able to fail at this. Okay. So make it easy and fun, first of all. Second of all, be consistent. And by this, I mean, set yourself a goal of doing it for at least a week, right? That is not a lot of time if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, to try and set you up a habit that will be something that you do forever. Just be consistent at it. And I promise you, if you do it every single day, your body will get used to it. It's called human conditioning. Human conditioning is something that we've done for our whole lives. You once were born and you couldn't walk. Now you can walk. It's because you were conditioned over time to learn that skill. It's the same for this. If you want to learn a skill, you just have to do it consistently every day, and your body will start to realize that that's now what you do. It's very simple. Okay. Piggyback it off something that you already do. If it's something that's kind of hard to fit into your schedule, piggyback it off something you're already doing. What I mean by this is finding something that you do autonomously throughout the day. So a good one is like, if you wake up in the morning and you put your kettle on to make coffee or tea or whatever, right? Let's say your habit is that you want to start reading more. When you put that kettle on, take your book and read 1 page of your book, just 1 page, right? It's easy, it's simple, okay? And if you consistently do it each day, not only will you get more, you'll get better at reading because you would have read at least 7 pages of that book, of a book that you may not have even started unless you attached it to something you did already, right? Or you've got, you can attach to something that's like, for example, hello, we've got one more here. Hello, welcome. So yeah, if you've got something that, hello Marcus, if you've got something that you can piggyback it off something that you're doing already, then it really, really helps, because your body will get used to, and your mind will get used to doing that thing after the thing that you're already doing anyway. So it's like, yeah, they also say if you want to listen to podcasts, for example, you haven't got time, do it when you're doing something you already do, i.e. a run in the morning, or when you're doing your house chores around the house, whatever. That's how you can sort of like coin 2 things together. The last one, and this is the psychology behind it, is celebrate every single time you do that new habit. Okay. And what I mean by that is literally high five yourself, give yourself a pat on the back, shout woohoo at the top of your lungs, right? Do whatever it takes, right, to make you feel good about the fact that you just completed that task, that habit you said you were going to. And what that does is it sends off little synapses in your head that say, okay, that feeling is good. And if I do that thing I just did and I get that feeling, that means it's going to give me the endorphins and the feeling going forward. So yeah, make sure that you make it easy and fun, be consistent, piggyback it off things you're already doing, and celebrate it. And I guarantee you a habit will stick as soon as short a time as a week in. Okay, try it and see what you think. It's changed my life knowing that little hack. Right, productivity. Okay, first of all, the internet. The internet is a wealth of knowledge, right? There's so many things on the internet. You just need to spend the time to find the right stuff. Okay, now if you're like me and you like learning, right, there is a plethora of amazing things you can find, right? There's Coursera, there's Udemy, there's Teachable. A lot of them are free, or if not, super cheap, to just learn little things. So if you are looking to start a business, but you're like, I don't really know what accounting is, go on those websites and type in accounting course, and I guarantee you'll find one that will give you, if not the full course, the fundamentals of a course, which then will give you an idea as to whether you want to then spend a bit more money to basically buy a fuller course to do. I'm a big advocate for investing in yourself. I think that, spending money on you is the best investment you can make. It will only do you favors going forward. So make sure that if you're spending money on anything, it's on you. Okay. And I understand materialistic objects are great now and again, but ultimately they've got something called an impact bias. Okay. And an impact bias is basically when a product, let's say you've got, you buy a new car for 5,000 and a course that will get you to the next stage in your career is also 5,000. The impact bias on the car versus the course is that the car will give you gratification for all of that many seconds, whereas that will give you gratification for the rest of your life. Okay, that's impact bias. So ask yourself, what gratification am I going to get long term from this purchase? And if it's a course that's going to better your life, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Always look to invest in yourself. Okay, a couple of really good productivity hacks I've got for you in terms of apps. Forest app, check out Forest app for if you're someone who cannot stop looking at their phone when they're doing something they said they're going to do. Give you an example. I try and read for 45 minutes a day. And until I got Forest app, I would spend about 20 minutes of those 45 minutes on my phone, checking emails and doing all sorts of stuff. Forest app basically plants a little tree on your phone, and you set it for a timer of say 45 minutes, and the tree grows over those 45 minutes. And if you leave the app or get out of it in any way, it kills the tree. And I mean, no one likes killing trees. Okay. So it's a weird virtual tree, but it doesn't matter because it works. And I promise you, like, if I put it on, I know I can't touch my phone for 45 minutes. It's a really clever, simple app, and it's free. It's great. Okay. Another one I wanted to share with you is one called the Quadrant Window. And this is for anyone who's got like a to-do list as long as their arm and they can't quite figure out what to do first. Okay. Now what I want you to do is like draw a square on your piece of paper and then draw a line down the middle and a line through the middle. So it looks like a window. Okay. Now on that window, you're going to put in the top left-hand corner, you're going to put the number 1. Okay. And the number 1 is going to represent do. The number 2 is going to be to the right of that. So the top right-hand corner is going to say plan. Bottom left is going to say delegate. And bottom right is going to say eliminate. Okay. Now the y-axis on the left is going to have important, top left, not important, bottom left. And then on the top x-axis, you're going to have top left is going to be urgent, and then top right is going to be not urgent. And what you do is you take your to-do list and you basically just fill in the gaps. So you look at it and go, right, what is the most important thing I need to do today, right now, in order to get whatever it is I need to get done? And you will find that it will fit into one of those categories. It will either be an important and urgent thing, i.e. do it now. It will either be an important but not so urgent thing, i.e. maybe like fitness, because that's part of your routine, but it's not like super important. It's not urgent. I just need to do it at some point today. So that goes in the plan. So you plan to do it later. Then you've got not important, but urgent. So you can either delegate that, right? Or you can find a way to do it after you've done your important things. Okay. And the last one's not urgent, not important. Why are you doing it? Okay. Simple as that. Get rid of it. Plan things around your schedule. Don't let your schedule plan you. Okay. And there's a really good book called Essentialism by Greg McKeown. I'll see if I can find it. It's on my shelf here. This book here is a really, really good book if you want to find yourself in a position of, you know, wanting to basically hack time back into your life. Okay. It's a really, really, really good book for that one. Okay. When it comes to doing anything in life, right, planning is the best way forward. So unless you know where you're going, it's as I said at the beginning, start with the end in mind. Plan it. Plan everything you do in a day. It sounds almost a bit, you know, back to school kind of things. But if you plan, then, you know, as the expression goes, if you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. Okay. And do not let any time get, you know, if you've got a diary and you've only got 5 things to do in that day that you need to do, use the rest of the time for you. Study, read, meditate, exercise, all the things that you need to do for you. Don't leave them blank, because they will get filled by somebody else, right? And as I said, if you don't read, you know, you do your diary, someone else will do it for you. Okay. Right. I'm going to go on to mindset next. Mindset is obviously part of what I do for a living. This is what I do with my clients on one-on-one. There's 2 types of mindset, just as a quick overview. There's fixed and there's growth. Okay. Fixed mindset is somebody that thinks that what they've learned up to this day is all they're going to ever learn. Okay. Unfortunately, those people are unable to ever progress in life because they think they've hit their ceiling already. Okay. What I do is I help people realize that nobody can be a fix for life. They can actually become a growth mindset individual. And that is somebody who wants to learn, who wants to grow, who wants to absorb, who wants to basically become the next version of themselves. Just like when you plant a tree, right? It starts off this big and then this big and then this big and becomes a massive, great big oak tree, right? That doesn't just happen overnight. It happens over time. Okay. So you have to invest just in yourself and water yourself and, you know, be kind to yourself and look after yourself in order to be able to grow. And the way you do that is by focusing on you, as I was saying before, exercise, meditation, journaling, all that sort of stuff. Make sure that you've got a really good routine in place that keeps you growing at a steady speed. Learn, ask, be someone who is thirsty for knowledge. And I guarantee you, right, it will pay off dividends at the end of the day. You know, the compound effect, another great book. Darren Hardy is a fantastic book about how you can basically just compound small things every day to become a bigger thing someday later on in life. All right. When it comes to mindset, I also wanted to look at like evidence-based results. Okay. So a lot of people, when they come to me, say like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. And all I say to them is, well, what have you done in the past that has worked, right? Everybody's got successes. Everybody's got something they can be proud of, right? So what was that time? Take yourself back to that time. Ask yourself, what was good then? How did it happen? Who was I with? How did it feel? How did I get there? Who did I get help from, right? And what you'll start to do is paint a picture of what the positive vibes you were having at that time. You can then relate all that stuff to whatever you're dealing with now. And suddenly you start finding answers. And the reason for that is because you've switched your mind from someone that's saying, I can't do this, to how can I do this? It's a simple word change, but you will honestly find the answers if you start asking how, not I can't. Okay. Evidence-based results. If you've got something that's proven that you've done it before, you can do it again. End of, right? You learn more by doing than you do by thinking. Okay. As I said, it's good to plan, right? But there's no point in planning unless you're going to implement it, right? There's no point in planning unless you're going to put an action against it. Okay. And the best way to action something is just by doing it, right? You will learn more by starting a project, starting running, starting meditating, starting journaling, starting trying to get up at 6 a.m. and figure it out along the way quicker than you will by just thinking about the fact that that might be something you want to do one day. Okay. Be bold, right? Be like, I like to try and adopt, and this is, you know, I work with a coach. I work with a life coach all the time. And one of my biggest challenges with my coach is trying to get myself to a point where I am living the all or nothing lifestyle. Okay. And for me, all or nothing means that I am dedicated fully to one thing and one thing only. Warren Buffett puts it super, super well. He said that you're better off doing one thing well than 5 things half-assed. Okay. And it puts it into total perspective. It's like you've got 100% of energy inside you, right? Every day you wake up with 100% of energy. And if you're giving 20% of energy to 5 different things, they're only going to grow at 20%. Whereas if you give 50% of energy to 2 things, or even better, 100% of energy to one thing, you're going to grow that exponentially at 100% each time. So think about when you do things in life, are they serving you? Do they matter? Are they important? Go back to the window I was talking about and just knock off the stuff that doesn't matter to your life. Just get rid of it, right? And only focus on the things that are important, okay? When it comes to obviously trying things, you will fail, right? That's just life. But if you try once and you fail, that's a learning experience, okay? It's not a failure because you don't know what you don't know. If you make a mistake twice, then yes, then that's a mistake because you should have known better the first time. So always learn from the mistake and it won't become a mistake again. Failing is one of the most wonderful things in life. It's the reason why we're shaped as we are as humans. You know, if we didn't have failure, we wouldn't have challenge. And if we didn't have challenge, we wouldn't have growth. So look at it from that point of view. When you try something new, it's the way forward to try and just focus your energy on something, then challenge yourself, and you'll learn very, very quickly if it's something for you and if it's something for not. What's the worst thing that can happen? Literally, what is the worst thing that can happen? You will be back to where you started, but you'll have a bit more knowledge about where you're going after that. Okay. Confidence, motivation. So confidence is defined as being able to know the outcome of a situation before it's happened. Okay. Or be confident in the outcome of a situation before it happens. Okay. And a lot of people maybe don't have the confidence because they don't know what's going to happen, or they think that something's going to happen, or the fear of something happening may kick in, right? All I say to that is, again, what is the worst that can happen? And if you work backwards from, rather than being like positive on this one, look negatively and go, right, what is the worst thing that could possibly happen to me in this situation? And really think about it, and then write it down on a piece of paper, and then think, okay, is that actually that bad? Do I still have my health? Do I still have this? Do I still have that? Could I build myself up from this? Could I get back to my feet? Could I do this? And 99.9% of the time, unless you're going to become a kamikaze suicide bomber, right, then it's going to be fine. Okay, it's going to be absolutely fine. You will build yourself up, right? Because there's always a way out of every bad situation. And as I said 100 times before, you learn more from doing than you do by thinking. So just do it, try it, and see what happens. Because if you get there, and it could be the best decision you ever made, and imagine if you waited 10 years to do that and then found out, it pains me to think of it. The other question you've got to ask yourself when you try anything new in life is, how will you feel if you don't do anything about this particular situation? So let's say you want to start a business, for example, right? How will you feel unless you just do something right now? Let's say in 2 months time, how will you feel then if you didn't do something right now? How about 2 years? How about 20 years? How will you feel if you don't do anything? Is it a better feeling than if you do something? Of course not. Like, the feeling of doing it and trying is going to feel much more accomplished and proud than it will be if you don't do anything at all. So always, always, always just try and see where you go. And honestly, it's like a process of elimination sometimes. If you try 100 things, right, there's going to be 99 of them they fail, but the one that does is going to make you the most happy, successful, fulfilled person in the world. Okay. When it comes to anything in life, business, future, your own personal well-being, just be future focused. Okay. What's happened in the past has happened in the past. And the only thing that I usually go back to in the past is to learn from the things that I've already learned. Don't look at the bad. Don't look at the things that have held you back or whatever, because you're here now. The present moment is the most important part of the moment. What happens tomorrow, right, is going to happen tomorrow, whether you like it or not. Okay. There's that famous expression. I think it's Henry Ford that said it. It's like, whether you think it will or you think it won't, it's still going to happen. Okay. Because that's just life. So what you can do today is just look and go, right, what can I do today to set myself up for the best possible way going forward into the future? And if you can do that today, tomorrow is already set up, and then you do it again and again. Okay. When it comes to using your strengths. Okay. Now, writing down a time, again, like I said before, writing down a time that's worked well for you. You know, how did it look? How did you get there? Who helped you? What did it feel like to be there? Those are the really, really important things that you can, you can focus on, and that will help you get there. And the thing is, we all have all the answers. Okay, we all have an incredible amount of, knowledge that we don't actually tap into, and it's because we've been holding ourselves back by ourselves. Okay, now when you when you try something new, and when you do something for the first time, you're never going to know what's happening. But then who does? You know, how did anyone get to where they're going in life through just that? No one told them, because otherwise they would have been doing it themselves. So always just focus on what's important to you and try things new, and see what happens. And at the worst case scenario, you would have learned something on the way. Before we go on to questions, I want to quickly just touch on Instagram. For anyone that's like on Instagram that wants to find out a bit more about how to say grow it, or how to just be a bit more sort of social on Instagram, there's a couple of things that I suggest. First of all, profile picture, super clear, super standout type picture is really, really important. People will find that and look at it, and they will try and follow you from that. The bio, make sure it's super clear and super clean, right? You've got to make it, someone will land on it for a second, make sure they know what's going on. If you haven't already, get a business account. It's free. You can look at all your insights, and the insights are super important if you are looking to sort of like grow your Instagram through just basically learning what other people like about your page. So you can look at, success leaves clues. So you'll find that the posts you put up that get the most bookmarks and the most sends and the most likes, they're the ones you should be like emulating and copying, because they're clearly what your audience like. And hashtags is another one. Hashtags are they're a bit of a confusing one. Most people don't really know what they are, but I'm telling you now, all a hashtag is, it's like Google with SEO search, right? You're just telling Instagram what you're posting about, right? So if you put a picture up of yourself and put like hashtag cat, hashtag dog, the algorithm's not going to know what you're talking about, right? You got to put up hashtags that are evidence-based of what you're actually showing, okay? And it will help them get higher up the organic searches, okay? The other one about Instagram is ghost followers. Instagram over the years have had a lot of problems with bots and people trying to like hack their account. And what happens is a lot of people will get followers that don't do anything on their account. And what that does is it affects your engagement rate. So if you've got a lot of followers but you're only getting like a 5% rate or something of people that are actually looking at them, it's probably because you've got some people in there that are not actually following you. So I would say go into your followers and just look through, and anyone that hasn't got a picture usually is a follower, as a ghost follower or a bot, and anyone that's got no posts, again, usually a thing you would buy. But just check them out and look at it, and it's worth having a look through those. Okay, guys, that's been my first episode of Life Hacks with Jack. We've got a couple of minutes for questions and stuff. If anyone's got any questions, please do unmute yourself and feel free to ask away. I am I said a lot there, and I'm hoping everything went in well. But yeah, please feel free to ask any questions if you want to unmute yourself or put them in the chat. You are more than welcome to do that, and see if anyone's got any questions about what I spoke about. If no one's got any questions, or if someone's thinking of some questions, that's absolutely fine. Can you please repeat back the book you recommended? Yes. So the book, The Essentialism by Greg McKeown. This is the book that I have read recently that I would say has changed my perception on how I manage my time and how I use my time best in life. So definitely get this one, Greg McKeown, Essentialism. Very, very good book. There is a couple of other good books which I can actually tell you what I'll do this week. I'll put a list of my favorite books on my Instagram, and you guys can see there. I'll put a picture up of all my favorite books from the last 6 months. Yeah, it's a good question. Thank you. Any more questions, feel free to pop them in the box. Guys, I also obviously am looking to do this more often. Okay. And as I said, I appreciate you guys so much for being the first ones to join in on this. I honestly, the support that I get, especially from the fact you're from, Australia and Mexico and all over the world, this is amazing. I would love to do these on a regular basis. So I would love for some feedback. You guys all have my email address now. It's the one I sent you the code on. If you have any feedback on this, please be honest. That's all I ask. Be honest about what you found it was good, what you found was bad, what you found was helpful, what you found was unhelpful, what you found about everything about this. Just give me some feedback. I would really appreciate it. because I would love to build this more, and I would love to be able to do this for more people and do this for people on a regular basis, because I think that there's a lot of information out there that's not being shared in the right way. And I think that the practicality of being able to streamline your life and essentially become a much more efficient human is an amazing benefit you can add to your life. So I honestly, I'd love some feedback, and I will always answer your emails back. And if you don't feel like emailing me, you can always Instagram me and just let me know what you thought. I would really, really appreciate that. Okay. Last thing before I wanted to go was to say that if anybody is experiencing something in their life that they're really stuck on, something that they're really struggling with, something they want to work something towards over the next, say, 3, 6, maybe even 9 months, right? I do one-on-one coaching. Okay. Part of my whole setup is that I do a lot of stuff on social media, but I also do one-on-one coaching. And the one-on-one coaching, compared to what I do with this sort of stuff, is that this is more mentoring. This is me telling you what works for me and what I found that works over the past. Coaching, it's all about you. It's about the person. It's about understanding how you as a person can become the person you want to be in the future. And I use techniques that are coupled with psychology, but also very clever questioning that allows you to open and tap into a side of your brain and a side of your soul and a side of your gut that says, yes, this is what I really want to do, and find your purpose, find your reason for being on this planet. I had coaching like 3 years ago. Someone coached me and it led me to where I am right now. Like it literally changed my life. And I am now working with a coach to do the next step of my life, which is to hopefully have a business, to hopefully have a life, to hopefully have, get married one day and have kids, and all the things that I want in life. I'm working towards those with somebody that can hold me accountable for my actions. Okay. And that's what I can do for you if you are looking for someone that can help you through a specific time in your life. Okay. They work mostly, obviously, over Zoom at the moment because of the pandemic. Hopefully one day, if anyone is in London or further afield, I could work with you in person. But yeah, if you're interested, please do drop me a message. I'm happy to explain it all. I'm happy to jump on a free call that we can talk individually about your particular situation and give you a sort of a personal touch to whatever it is that you're looking to achieve. As you know, my specialists are in mindset, motivation, and growth. So my promise to you, if you come to me for working with me one-on-one, is that I will take you from where you are now and get you to where you are wanting to get to in the future, right? And I will work with you on realistic and achievable goals that you will set alongside me helping you. But I will be there to make sure that you actually get them done, and also there be celebrating with you when you actually finish up and you can go, hey, where I started 6 months ago, Jesus, that was awesome. Now I'm here. Like, wow, this is what it's all about. And that's why I do this job. It's because I love the feeling of getting someone to a point in their life where they feel happy, content, and fulfilled. That is the ultimate goal. And I've been through it myself, and the feeling is like, it's next level. I can't even describe it in words. So yeah, if anyone's interested, do drop me a message. But otherwise, feedback would be amazing. Yeah, guys, this has been Life Hacks with Jack, episode 1. I look forward to hearing from you guys. And if anyone has got any more questions, feel free to hit me up on Instagram. Lots of love. Peace out. Look after yourselves. It's a big wide world out there, but it's there to be lived. I'll see you soon. Take care.